Hey there, sports fans. How are we doing? How are we this week as we stroll on into round 9? Welcome to the 10 Yards Back podcast, video series, educational program, of course. Welcome. If you're watching on YouTube and you don't like to look at my face, there is another way. Head over to Spotify, 10 Yards Back on Spotify, and you can just listen. You can just listen to the audio version. Head over to Twitter as well. Also, X. Head over to X. And just tell me you're on there, because I don't use it. So that's welcome. Welcome to 10 Yards Back. Round 9. A bit of a hangover from Rivals round 8, round 9. The friendly round, I guess. I don't think so, because if we look at the fixtures, we got some pretty hot rivalries on this one already. So, opening the round, what a treat! Opening the round. There's nothing that says that Thursday evening games have to be bad, but I always think that's the one people are going to skip, so they'll probably, they'll probably not put a good one on there. But Saints Warrington, how can you miss that one? Even if Corrie's on, you're going to watch that game. You'd think I might be bored of Saints Warrington by now, and you'd be wrong, as we'll get into. Leeds Hull KR Friday evening, just one game on Friday. That's a bit of a coup, isn't it? One game on a Friday. Doesn't often happen. Leeds Hull KR at Headingley. I feel like there's a bit of beef there as well. Obviously, Ryan Hall travelling over. Historically, quite close. Reece Martin went the other way and hasn't really played all season. But anyway, Leeds Hull KR, Huddersfield Castleford, the battle for the bottom there. Salford versus Leigh, probably under different circumstances would have been a hot rivalry. Certainly was last season, so that's a shame. Catalans Wakefield, okay, and Hull FC Wigan. Wigan want to get their own back against Hull FC, don't they, for kicking them out of the Challenge Cup? So a lot of rivalries this round too. I wonder why they chose not to call it that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at the games. I'm going to talk you through what I know about the team sheets, and as you'll see at the time of recording, it's not that much. But I'll give you my opinions on who might be out, who might be in favour this week for selection, and go through, most importantly, my predictions, my score predictions based on my statistics brain. All right, so let's kick off then with game 1. Thursday night, the Wolves take on the Saints in Warrington at the Halliwell Jones, no longer the Luke Litter Stadium. So Thursday at 8, Warrington versus Saints. So both teams coming in quite differently here, really. Warrington in at 9th, Saints in at 5th. So obviously there's a bit of a gulf. If Warrington absolutely batter Saints by over 100 points, they can leapfrog them here, because the actual league points difference isn't that big. It was the beginning of the season, but I very much doubt it. Warrington, the key here, and I don't know which way it's key, but it definitely doesn't not mean anything, is that Warrington have already beaten twice in the past 6 weeks. One of them very close, really, really close. The second one, the scoreline was 24-14 or something like that, much like the Good Friday game. So they're coming in quite different, but there is that backstory there. Now, as far as team selection goes, Warrington have had a bit of a tragedy. They've lost George Williams. They know where he is. He's just got a groin or hamstring or leg or something injury that's going to keep him out for about 6 weeks. So this will be week 2 of that. It'll be week 2 of his absence. But if you watched the Challenge Cup game, Saints versus Warrington George Williams really tore Saints apart on that right wing. I think it was Matt Whitley was in the centres, just not fast enough, and George Williams tore him apart. That's not to say that somebody else can't do that, but George Williams is a special player, and he's absent. If I were Sam Burgess, which I am not, I would put Ratchford in at the halves. Ratchford's got a lot of tradition with this fixture, playing Saints, beating Saints, and there's life in the old dog. Yeah, I would put Ratchford in the halves. I think Walker last week did an all right job, but he's a much better hooker than he is a standoff. For Saints, they've lost Batchelor. The team sheet for Saints isn't actually looking that bad. It's tempting to look at it and think that they're missing quite a lot of people, because Kyle Felt basically hasn't played. Conrad Hurrell hasn't played a game yet this season. We've got Robertson is missing, of course. He's gonna be that is gonna be a big loss for Saints, because he's a scorer. He's someone who can get over the line, and defensively he's okay, but he's at least quick enough to fill that void between the second row and the wing, which I just don't think Whitley is quite cutting. He's doing okay. Paul Wellens thanked him in his post-match speech on Good Friday, but I just think they need a centre there, and Wellens is talking about Dagnall in the centres, something like that. No offence, stick a senior in there. I think for me, this is how I would play it. Do whatever you want with Saylor and Wellesby. This fixture in particular, I think Saylor should be at the back and Wellesby should be at Wellesby should be at the back and Saylor should be at standoff. Put Whitley in at scrum half. Stick Lomax in the centres. Stick him in the centres. He's on the field then. He's got his influence. He can do what he wants. He can pass the ball. He can run the ball at the line. He would actually make quite a good centre, I think. And this is kind of what Ratchford did as well, isn't it? He went from full-back to standoff to centre. This is what I think Wellens should do with Lomax. So that's Thursday at 8. My score prediction for this is 14-24. I think Saints are going to turn it around. I think they're going to do it. They're going to turn the screw. They really turned it back on against Wigan on Good Friday, rivals round. And I just think Warrington, with the missing Williams, Duffy's a pretty good player, but those two really play off each other really well. So 24-14, either way, what I really enjoy looking at the pre-match stuff is just Warrington's marketing machine. If you look at what they've put out, like they've been just putting out this whole stuff about the trilogy and the box set and the epic journey of Saints versus Warrington, just laughing in the face of the fact that yes, we have played them twice very recently in very short order. Good on you, Warrington. That's why we love you. All right, game 2 of the weekend: Leeds versus Hull KR at Headingley. Hull KR are really storming it this season. There's nothing really much more you can say about it. The top of the league, they're the only team with 7 wins yet. So, only lost 1 to Wigan, and Leeds certainly out Wigan. The scoring, the defending, they're doing really well. Leeds are on the up. Leeds are a really good middle team at the minute, who can turn you over on your day. I think they've certainly still got the skills. Hanley is doing a number right now. Newman is still out there. The thing here for Leeds is Croft's out, Ackers is out, and Cameron Smith's out. So Cameron Smith's joint captain, I think, still. Ackers and Croft, massive playmakers for him. That's the hooker and the standoff there. What more can you do? They have got a really good forward pack. They're well equipped in the forwards now. Callum Watkins has just joined him, had a good game last week. You've Bentley, McDonald, Oledsky, Lasoni. The pack is great, and that is an area that Hull KR aren't super deep in, but nevertheless, they're very capable as well. Hull KR, I think the key to victory here for Leeds. Hull KR, just keep doing what you're doing. I think you'll by far the favourites in this one. The key for victory to Leeds is the fact that Davis and Burgess are out for Hull KR. So I don't know who's going to fill in those spots for Davis and Burgess. If I'm Leeds, I have to make sure that I don't get myself lulled into an arm wrestle here, because what could happen is the likes of Jared Warrior-Hargreaves, James Batchel's having a cracking season at the minute. That those big guys could just chew up the clock and wait for a Mikey Lewis kick when someone does something amazing. So I think if I'm Leeds, I've got to make sure that I control where that down the middle game is, and I control the wings. Pull the players out to the wings by attacking very well, and put it down the middle with your well-equipped forward, with your deep forward pack. Nevertheless, that being said, I think we probably knew where I was going with this. I've got a score prediction at 20-12 to Hull KR victory. They're just so good. It's not a knock on Leeds. It's Hull KR are so good, and Leeds are missing quite a few players. All right, game 3, Saturday at 3. Anybody going to watch this one? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It is an intriguing fixture because Castleford have come so close many times here. Losing out just 1 point to Wakefield on Thursday, and Huddersfield have actually. I hate this terminology, but they've actually won a few first halves. If that's anything, if that's anything at all, they've actually won a couple of halves and then just lost it in the end. The thing is, like, if you look at the average points scored by both teams, it's nothing really, is it? 2 tries basically each. Castleford have defended a little bit better. They're not losing their head, I think, basically, is what's happening to Castleford. They're playing until the end, whereas Huddersfield aren't really doing that. Or they only play at the end and they score 2 tries in 5 minutes and you wonder where they were. The Huddersfield squad is just so shot. I don't have a squad list for them. I don't have a 21 man or anything like that. But it's so shot to pieces, and the one ray that they've got is Liam Sutcliffe, and he's now out. So he got injured on Friday as well. So it's just bad luck for Hudds, isn't it, at the minute? Cass, again, I don't have a 21 man for Cass either. I think I'm doing this probably a bit too early in the week, but Sylvester Namo's left forever. He's just left the club this week. I don't know why, obviously personal reasons back home, but he's gone, and Tom Amone is coming to join them. So Tom Amone had a real good season last year and the year before, I think, with Leigh. Definitely last year for sure. I don't think that's going to change too much, to be honest. Especially not in this game in particular. I don't even know if Amone's going to play this week. He's just arrived. The thing that makes this one intriguing is that both sides will fancy this one. Both sides will think they've got it. Both sides will think they can win. However, I think it's going to be 22-18 to Castleford on this one. I'm okay being wrong with this. I'm okay with Huddersfield smashing them, but what Huddersfield have to do to win here, strategically, I don't know, because I don't know who's playing. I don't know who can link up now that Sutcliffe's out. I just don't know. So the Huddersfield's strategy here is defend. Do not get too far behind the scoreline, because you can come back a bit. You've proven that, but you can't work miracles. So just don't get too far behind Hudds, and you can do it. All right. The Red Devils versus the Leopards. We're kind of in a similar situation here, aren't we, with Salford? I'll probably say this again, but Salford have used about 45 first-team players already this season. So 45 different names have worn the Salford jersey already, which is shocking. Obviously, it's completely out of the players' hands. It's completely out of Paul Rowley's hands, who's being fantastic about it. But I mean, what can you do? That it's completely unpredictable, and maybe that'll work in their advantage. I don't know. So Leigh are pretty much storming. To be honest, they've got Charlie back, but I think Ipape might be out on a ban this week. Maybe a couple match ban he picked up because his points accrued and he had to have a ban because he's a naughty boy. Also, Armstrong might be out injured on this one. My question there is, does it matter? I don't know. If you look at the teams, how they sort of line up against each other, Leigh in third, Salford in 11. I think that's all you need to know. It's amazing that Salford aren't last. So, good on them, but I don't think they can do this one. I think it's going to be that Salford will get one, but Leigh will put a couple on them. So 20 points to 6, Leigh versus Salford there. All right, so we head down to the south of France now. Saturday, 5:30, which is a nice, I like a 5:30 Saturday game. Catalans versus Wakefield. Catalans are an odd one, aren't they? Because that Perpignan is such a fortress, and it's kind of cliche, isn't it, that they can always win in Perpignan. I mean, we're talking, what is it now, seventh versus 6th in the table, or 7th versus 8th in the table. So there's not a lot in it. Sorry, 7th versus 8th. There's not a lot in this, really, team-wise. I think you've got the advantage that Wakefield are travelling all the way down there. It's going to be a bit warm, probably like 20, 22 degrees, something like that. So not loads warm, but they're still travelling. There might be the fatigue. Daryl Powell's lamented the fact that Catalans have had 2 games against Salford and 1 against Huddersfield in the past 3 weeks. So, in his words, so they've had quite a lot of time to practice their attack. Now, what I will say to Daryl Powell is that there are 2 sides to a game of rugby league: attack and defence. And they will not have had the defence tested that much. And the Catalans are without Sam Tompkins. They've got this Guillermo guy in at fullback, and the Dara Forte guy, forgive me, I'm sorry, I'm sure he listens, in at the centres. So that's a potential weakness. Now, the Catalans team in general is a big bloody team. They're just a bunch of big blokes that don't play union, which probably should. And they've got great pivots as well, fast wings. So they do have threats all over. But I think that the key for Wakefield is that centre, that young centre fullback who haven't really been tested much. So I think that the key to Wakefield's victory here is to not necessarily move forward that much. I think you should try to really play on halfway. Don't get too far down the field so that the whole defensive line is down the field. Obviously, don't be in your own half because you're not going to score any tries there. But try and be around halfway as much as you can, and then really, really kill them with kicks, because then you can challenge that hole in the fullback there. You got Mason Lino, excellent positional kicker. I think that's the key to the Wakefield success. However, I'm just not sure they'll pull it off. This is the only one, by the way. I have like a statistical way of, it's not very sophisticated, of working out these points differences. This is the only one this week that I've tweaked, because I just think that Catalans are going to pip this one. It's going to be close. It's going to be hard fought. That's why the 19. I think it'll work its way up there, and Wakefield will probably have a late resurgence. All right. The final game of the week, and the final game of non-rivals round. Hull FC versus Wigan. Now, the last time these two met was an incredible game. I was saying before about Huddersfield, don't get too far behind the scoreline. Hull were definitely behind the scoreline the last time these two played. I almost turned it off at 18 minutes because it was just raining points on them, and they turned it around and won. Martin Lewis, not Lewis Martin, Martin Lewis, had an absolute blinder of a game. Great. Now, there's not a lot, one league point between them. Obviously we're going to have scored a lot more points and have defended a lot more points. Like on average, Wigan are the much better team, but I think that Hull have got the number a little bit, and I'll explain why in a second. When we look at the teams, there's questions over Jordan Rapiner and Ed Chamberlain, but mainly Jordan Rapiner. I think whatever I say here really is dependent on Rapiner being in that Hull FC squad. I think if he's not in it, they can't really do what I'm about to say, and so all bets are off. Price is great, but he's not Rapiner. Okay, he's not got that experience. He's not got that doggedness about him to do this. We're going to basically got a full squad. I think last week they'd lost Mago, but he was ill, so he's going to be back this week unless it's really bad. Dupree is going to be out because he failed his HIA. Basically got knocked clean out in Good Friday as a defender as well. You always think like when the defender gets knocked out, it's bad, isn't it? Because no one even gets a penalty for that. You just got knocked out. But anyway, so no Dupree, but basically everyone else is good. Obviously Kieran out for a long time. I think Hull FC's key to victory here, and there's no other team I would say this about in the league. Every other team in the league, I would give a similar advice to what I just gave to Wakefield, which I'm sure they're going to do, and that's play a little bit further back from the try line because you want to have that space behind them to be able to make a break. Because yes, Jay Field is good, but he's only one man. So if you've got that wiggle room space behind them, then at least if you break through, there's not going to be another defender there straight away, which is what will happen on the line. Hull FC can throw that away. I don't know what it is about them. I don't know why, but Hull FC have got excellent goal line attack this year, and I think that it's going to sound obvious, but the more they play down in, if they can keep the ball down in Wigan's 20, they can win. And I wouldn't say that to anybody else. Everybody else, what I would say is if you're in Wigan's 20 and you get a penalty, kick the fucker and get back to your own half to give yourself that space. Hull FC, different. That's how they win this game, I think. That being said, I don't think they win it. I think it's going to be about 14-28 to Wigan winning. The 28 going to Wigan there. They're Wigan again, They Wiganed about 3 times on Good Friday and scored 4 tries from it. So, they're back. So, I mean, what can you say? And Hull FC can't even be disheartened about that. They're disheartened about that because they already beat them this year and it was spectacular when they did. All right, so the full round then, if we sum up my my predictions, I've basically got all the away teams winning except Catalans. I think Catalans are going to pip that one. I'm happy to be wrong about that Huddersfield Cast game. Again, both teams are going to want that so much that it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to tell you a lot about the team's determiners, the grit. So we'll see how that goes. But that's it. That's my predictions for round 9, the hangover of the Betfred Super League. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think about my predictions, my analyses, and I'm going to speak to you again on Monday with my round review. I'm probably going to be eating some humble pie on some of my predictions. In the meantime, if you want to listen to me but don't want to look at me, head over to Spotify. Get in touch on X. Nobody does. All right. Thanks, guys.